Hello and welcome to Beach View, our podcast about different things and/or stuff.
Hello, welcome. So today we're bringing it back to another movie. This time it is 2023 movie A Haunting in Venice, adapted from an Agatha Christie book.
Yes, which is 1969's Halloween Party.
Yeah.
And this is the third and so far final film in the Poirot series we've been watching.
Mm-hmm.
The Agatha Christie adaptations.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like we're gonna get more of these movies coming out. So Kenneth Branagh, which I don't know if that's how you say his name, but he plays Poirot. Is also, I think, is he also director producer? I know he has a lot to do with these movies.
Yeah, he's a director. Probably producer. Okay, I'm looking. Yeah, he's a producer.
I thought so, because I know I've read before that he has said he kind of wants to create a whole universe around these books and stuff, because there's so many Agatha Christie books and short stories that he wants to do a whole universe around that. So I feel like we're gonna get more.
Yeah, maybe. I just thought it was interesting that, because I was looking into it, and apparently, the one he adapted from for this film is, one of the last Poirot novels, so...
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I just looked it up, and like I said earlier, it's 1969, the last ones were from the 30s, so...
Wow.
So, but yeah, he could, go back and just adapt some of the random ones in order, but so far they've been chronological.
Yeah, that's true.
So, who knows? But yeah, there's definitely room to do more. Don't know what'll happen with that.
Yeah.
But, what'd you think of this movie?
Okay, so I wanted to see this because, first of all, I like the genre, as we've discussed before, but I really love Venice. I think that it's super enchanting, and I think it's perfect backdrop for a mystery, even horror, scary stories, so I thought this would be super interesting, just in that atmosphere of Venice, because to me it's just a place unlike any other place. So I thought it'd be really cool to see, and I liked it. But I think it had some drawbacks that I wasn't crazy about, so we'll get into that. What did you think?
I thought this was fine. Maybe a bit more obvious than the previous two. Some of the thematic stuff and plot stuff just felt very tropey, kind of cliched.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, otherwise it was a fine movie. Fine one of these. The actors mostly did well. I didn't like Tina Fey though. I thought I don't know. I feel like for a more dramatic role, she really didn't fit.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like she played the kind of, I guess you would say a little arrogant, writer. I feel like she played that well, but her character was a little flatter than I think it could have been.
Yeah, I just think her acting's, she's I don't know what other drama stuff she's done, but, I've only seen her in her comedy work. She's known for comedy.
Yeah.
And, she's giving the same delivery from that stuff, and it just felt to me kind of this doesn't really work.
I totally
She's
get
limited.
that, because, yeah, you don't think of her when you think of a dramatic actress,
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the movie had, it was a little too much action for me.
Oh,
in
really?
That, yes,
there's less than the
yes.
previous two.
I felt I don't know why in this one, but the fight scene between the doctor and the ex-fiance, and that whole fight scene, I was okay, rolling my eyes, all right, let's move on.
I thought that was the best action of the because it wasn't so much a straight up action as a character
yeah.
going to blows. This was building to this.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I just I don't like watching fight scenes in any, or chase scenes. I know I've said that before on the podcast. I just get a little bored when people start fighting or chasing each other. I'm just okay, cool, let's move on. And then there was just a lot of screaming, a lot of, screams in this movie. And there was some other like kind of chase scenes that, you know, like all of these movies have them in it, but I just was kind of like a little bit like, okay, like let's get this scene over with kind of thing. So that's what I didn't like.
Yeah, well, the chase scenes in that, like, they're not really chase scenes, because it's more like running around scenes. It's kind of funny. Because they had explicit chase scenes in the previous two, and like, one of these is he thinks he sees, like, a ghost child and goes to run after it.
Yeah. I felt like there were a bit too many, like, jump scares.
Yeah, well, this is pulling on horror, like, definitely.
Yes, exactly. And it was like, you know, a loud noise or the bird suddenly flying and...
Yeah, but that's a classic. If you have a bird, you gotta do that.
You definitely do. I mean, it adds to the ambiance, but, like, to me, it wasn't like, you know, I was just kind of like, oh, okay. It's not my favorite things in a movie, so.
Which is strange, because usually I don't like jump scares, but these were too tame to me, I think.
Yeah, they were tame, but it still was just like, ugh, okay.
Well, I startle easily, so I really don't like jump scares, but...
Yeah, I'm the same
no,
way.
these were fine for me. I didn't get startled once.
You didn't?
No.
Okay, I did.
Yeah, so that didn't bother me, and I mean, like, I don't know, some of the horror stuff was kind of, cheesy, and some of it was better, I thought, but, you know, I guess I appreciated it dabbling in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible, I like the movie itself, like, you know, but it was just kind of like, some of those things I felt were just like, oh, okay, like dramatic effect, like I'm kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
But I did think the actors were good, like Jamie Dornan as the doctor. What's her name? Kelly. I never remember this lady's name.
I don't know.
Let me see.
So.
Kelly
Riley?
Yes, Kelly Riley as Rowena Drake. I thought she did a good job. The little kid, the little boy.
Decent child actor.
Yeah, he did a good job. And then, of course, Michelle Yeoh. Is that how you say her name?
I don't know.
Michelle Yeoh. She's like always a good actress. That was The Medium.
Yes.
Joyce Reynolds. Yeah. I think she always does a good job. So, I mean, it had some really good people in this, but I agree that Tina Fey's character, although I didn't mind it, and I thought she had that, like I said, that kind of arrogance down, but the other parts of the acting, yeah, I think she's, you know, more of a comedy actress than a dramatic actress.
Yeah. Also, I will say that, back on that horror stuff, the seance scene I thought was just goofy and overly long.
Yes. Overly long. When Miss Reynolds, the medium, starts like spinning around.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and the scene right after that, and like its plot importance was super weird.
Mm-hmm.
God, that was such a weird scene. We'll talk about it more, I think, when we get to it after the plot synopsis, but him just like wearing that costume is strange.
Yes. I thought that was odd. And the bobbing for apples thing, I thought was just like a weird section of the movie.
But yeah, cool set design. I think probably the best out of all the movies we've seen in this series.
Yeah, set design was cool. I really loved the scenes of Venice. Were just beautiful. And, you know, like I said, I think it's such an enchanting place. So I think it's the perfect backdrop.
I really like the shadow play they had in the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
That looked really cool.
I agree.
Yeah, that weird, like, Garden of Eden clock that was, like, in several shots.
Yeah.
Like, whenever the clock struck. That was a neat little, bit of design.
I agree. It's kind of cool. The bird,
yes.
The little parrot thing, I didn't really like that.
Why?
I just didn't think it, like, added that much to the movie. I felt like the bird was, like, a secondary character that just, like, I don't know. I thought the bird was going to start talking and making, like, crazy.
Once or twice.
Well, I mean, I thought it was going to be, like, you know, they were going to find out it was, like, the bird pretending to be a ghost or something.
Yeah.
You know, I thought It would have more significance.
Now, I realized what the, where the ghost came from pretty early on, but...
Oh, you did?
Yeah, well, because that's such a, like, these sorts of things love to go for that.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't catch on to that at first.
No, I mean, I didn't get it, like, right at the first moment you could, but, like, I think at, like, the first or second hallucination, I was like, oh, okay, I know where this is going.
I thought it was going to be like toxic mold or something, making everybody hallucinate, like carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, well, that's basically the same thing, like,
yeah,
as what happened.
True. Yeah, that is always, like, definite points to that in these types of stories.
Yeah, and also the themes about him being a skeptic towards the medium, and that reflecting like his faith in like ability to believe things and believe in humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
That's like also a fairly like common theme in these, I feel like.
Well, the scenes where they showed the like the girl who had died, like in her like horror, like screaming, like showing up behind him in a mirror, you know, kind of thing. I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, the mirror thing was a bit cheesy at times. Although I think the first mirror thing was good just because I like the running water thing where he like pulls it and it's not running and then it suddenly like snaps back to reality and it is.
Yes, that was interesting. Yeah, so I think you had some interesting plot points here. Great setting.
Yeah, we really should have watched this for Halloween.
I know. It'd be a good Halloween movie.
I didn't realize it was gonna end up like that, but...
Yeah, I didn't either. I had no idea. And I was wondering, like, is that true what she says, the author, she says, I should say the writer in the movie, she said that, like, the Americans brought Halloween there?
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know the specifics, but I know Halloween's, like, celebrated way more in the US than a lot of other countries.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know, like, if, you know, they were celebrating Halloween in 1947 in Italy.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of curious about. Actually, okay, so... I just Googled. So Halloween has European origins, but American influence has helped spread it to other countries, including Europe. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, because it's like, I don't know the specific history of that, but like, the things we do on Halloween were not, I don't think what people were doing back in the day. Like, dressing up like,
yeah.
Well, I guess people might have dressed up in costumes or something, but the whole, like, candy thing and having, like, a party, like a costume party.
The candy.
And
yeah,
eating a bunch of cake like you do in this movie.
I don't ever eat cake on Halloween.
Well, they did in this movie, and it is a, you know, it's a sweet, so...
Yeah,
it is a treat in the trick-or-treat.
Yeah, that's true. And what was the deal with all the orphans coming for a party?
I think she just wanted to throw a party for orphans.
Okay, because I was like, what?
It's like, you know, rich person philanthropy thing.
Oh, okay. I thought that was weird because I was like, you have like a grieving mother and she's hosting all these people on Halloween. Like, I didn't understand what that was about.
Yeah, but, yeah, so I guess I'll get into the plot synopsis.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so, in 1947 Venice, we have Hercule Poirot is retired, our famous detective, but he is no longer, and he's going about his day, like with his bodyguard, when he gets interrupted by a visit from an old friend, who is, I don't remember her name, but she's a novelist, basically like a self-insert for Agatha Christie in the original novels, which is kind of fun, but she shows up and she's like, hey, you should start working cases again. And he's like, no, I'm retired. And she's like, hey, you should come to this, orphan Halloween party / seance that's happening afterwards. Because, this, medium really has me fooled. And you should see if you can, suss her out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go to the, orphan Halloween party. And they're doing, festivities. And we get introduced to the main characters, that are going to be relevant in the, murder mystery later on. Classic one of these. We have... I am bad with character names. The owner of the house that we're in.
That's Rowena Drake.
Yeah, who is like this is like a former orphanage or something. One of the things at the Halloween party is like this old legend about, the orphans all dying horribly, because they got locked in the house and now it's haunted.
Yeah.
But, yeah, So,
a haunted palazzo.
Yeah, and she's, she was an opera singer,
yes.
Rich, had a daughter, but her daughter, committed suicide, like a year ago, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, and she's still, in mourning. We have her assistant, whose name I also don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the assistant either. Or the nun? Is that who? No, that's the...
She's a former nun, we find that out later, but she's the...
Yes.
I don't remember, housekeeper, whatever.
Yeah, housekeeper lady,
yeah. We have, the doctor, who, I don't know why he was there, do you,
Okay, so at first, the Dr. Ferrier, I think was his name, Jamie Dornan's character, I thought that he was the dad.
Yeah, I did
I thought he was the girl who died's dad. And so it wasn't until later that I was like, oh, he's just the family physician that lives there?
I guess, I don't know.
And the little boy was his son, but I thought the little boy... Yes, I thought the little boy was I thought the two were married, Rowena and the doctor. Yeah. Their daughter died, and they also had a son. And then, later on, I was like, oh, no, that's not right.
Yep, he's just the family doctor.
Yeah, which is super interesting. Yeah.
Yes, and his son who is too busy reading Edgar Allan Poe to deal with the festivities happening.
Which I love, yes.
Right, and that's, his bodyguard's there, and so is, Tina Fey's character, the novelist. Mm-hmm. And that's everybody, yes?
I think so, yeah. And Tina Fey's characters, I think her name is Ariadne or something like that. Ariadne, something.
Yeah, but then the medium shows up, and there's a whole scene with that. She has an assistant who follows her around.
She's two, right?
The second one doesn't get reviewed till later.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yes. And right after the kids leave and before the seance starts, the ex-fiancé of the daughter who died shows up. That's a big deal because he does not get along with her mother.
One thing I didn't really understand is, as soon as he shows up, he's like, yeah, I'm going to Chicago and I'm marrying a super rich girl. And and I'm going why is he coming here with that nonsense?
I think he's just saying something to win an argument because they started arguing. I don't know.
Okay. I was like, that's a weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's if you're going to accuse me of something, I'll just own it.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes sense.
They do make him seem as kind of a douche because of that, though.
Yeah.
So they host their seance in the daughter's room, which has been mostly untouched. Also, there's a bird there.
Yeah, there's a bird.
Yeah, and Poirot's obviously trying to, figure out the trick. There's a whole thing with the doll that comes up later. And she has a typewriter that she's, using as part of the seance. And, they go through the whole thing. She's like, spirits, are you here? She knows stuff she shouldn't be able to know, etc. And the typewriter hits itself to indicate letters and stuff. And Poirot stops this in the middle of her, or during it, she reveals that, I was murdered. Someone killed me. It wasn't a suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Which freaks everybody out. And Poirot stops it after this and is like, you're a fraud. I figured out your game.
Yeah.
And he, goes and pulls out the guy from the chimney, who's the second assistant, who's the first assistant's half-brother. And he had gone in the room prior to set everything up, and he also has, a little magnet thing to make the typewriter hit down for, to make it look like a ghost is hitting the letters.
I didn't really understand how that worked.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume it's like a
okay.
known about thing, though.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool.
But yeah, so he's like, yes, this is all fake, etc. And then the real seance starts, where she, like, starts screaming and, like, spinning around and stuff.
Yeah.
And this time it's all more dramatic, like one of the lights, like, crashes and goes out, the doll goes missing or something. Or the little stuffed animal thing.
Little rabbit, I think it was.
Yeah, was anything revealed in the second seance?
I don't think so. Because she was like, the medium was like, basically...
Oh, okay.
being possessed, right?
Yeah, and she, like, speaks in her voice, and, like... Does she say one of the people, like, in this room killed me?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I don't know. Something happens in this, and, like... Anyways, then they end up, and Poirot and the medium have, like, an argument where she's, like, she's trying to convince him of its realness. The author also chimes in at some point, like, before they're doing this, to be like, see, she's real. I told you she was real.
Yeah.
So they have an argument, and then weird scene happens where she dresses him up in her, like, weird outfit she walked in with the mask and cloak.
What was that about?
I don't know. I think it's just, like, because it fit with the plot.
Okay.
Because that was...
Because I was like, why would he agree to that? Like, I was
he didn't, like, agree. He just sat there while she, like, put it on.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, this really weird scene that, like, is kind of necessary for the plot to work out.
Right.
Like, also, like, right before she does that, she, like, changes the tone of the conversation. Where at first she's like, oh, just, admit it, like, I'm the real deal and you just can't accept that. Blah, blah, blah. And then she, like, changes her tone to be, like, whimsical. It's like, we won't meet again.
Yeah.
And, you should lighten up, which was really weird.
I thought that was odd.
Yeah, that's less synopsis and more,
yeah.
talking about it. But yeah, so then he, like, sits there for a second, walks over to the apple bobbing station they had set up for the kids, and he's like, I should lighten up, and decides to bob an apple.
Yeah.
Where he then gets attacked. Like, the assailant tries to drown him, and then, like, someone, his bodyguard, I think, goes up and finds them and is like, what happened? And he's like, oh, someone attacked me. He's like, wait, I was wearing, the medium's clothes. Someone find out where she is, and then, there's a yell from the other room, and she has been impaled on a statue.
Yeah.
So now we have our murder mystery. Everybody is a suspect. So he begins, by locking the, exit to the gate, telling his guard to guard it, and Poirot's gonna be like, I'm going to go do my, work. I'm
sleuthing.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. I'm gonna on the case again.
Yeah.
So he's, like, investigating. Also, like, they sat down and he drinks some tea, which is served, which comes up later because there was honey put in this tea. And at first he's, like, talking to the novelist lady, and he's like, you have an alibi, so it couldn't have been you, so you're going to be my assistant. Because remember, Book died in the last movie, so he's been replaced. And the first person they interview is the owner of the house, correct?
I believe so, yes. Rowena.
Yeah. Right, and they go up to a garden, and she's like, oh, this was my secret garden.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing about she kept bees, and she was talking about how her daughter died, and, like, they thought she had gone mad from a haunting, because, the house is haunted from all the orphan ghosts. And there, it's also, people think the ghost killed the medium.
Right.
So, and that's part of the thing with this. Poirot's proving it's a normal murder and not ghosts.
And Rowena, it should be noted, was, like, all emotional because she was like, my daughter really did speak through her, and it sounded like her, and I know it's real, and, like, all this stuff.
Yeah. And I don't think they get much information out of this.
Only she comments on, like, how much work it is to basically, like, keep up the flowers and harvest the honey. She's like, so much work just to get a tablespoon or two of honey.
Yeah, and, then we interview the housekeeper next. Yeah, and she
Yeah,
reveals
former
she used to
nun.
be a
Yeah.
nun.
Yeah.
Yes, because she was very against the seance.
She thought it was like evil against like God's word, basically.
Yeah, and right. So like she might be suspicious because she might wanted to have killed the medium. She's like, no, I didn't do that. And during this, Poirot starts kind of like tripping up. I
Yeah.
think is this where he starts hearing things?
Just straight tripping, basically. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is where wait, I think it was after that when he starts interviewing the ex-fiance because ex-fiance is like in the kitchen like cutting something.
Oh no, that's much
Remember? And then he
later.
sees the apple. Okay, I thought that's when he started tripping up because his vision starts getting a little blurry and he sees the word apple like in the letters.
Yeah, no. That well, he trips up there, but he starts tripping up. Wait, like there's
Okay.
several hallucinations before that point.
I
That's
don't
late in the
remember, yeah.
film.
Oh yeah, because he sees things, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think he starts hearing things and kind of like tripping over his words
Okay.
and like just kind of being kind of out of it.
Yeah.
And like yeah, he doing this interview. The next interview is well, I think he talks to the doctor next and gets like the autopsy.
Yeah. Was that next? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, he's also asking everybody when the time was because it like where they were when the time was because it was just after midnight. Like the clock struck midnight and then the murder happened like a few minutes after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the doctor comes next, and he's like, he messed up the autopsy. It's like clear he's suffering from PTSD, and he's just kind of like out of it, kind of freaking out a little. But I don't think they think he's a suspect, just that, kind of weird. And then the like son pops up.
Yeah, the son like basically takes care of his dad, like when
Yeah.
he's like, Dad, are you okay? Do you need your pills? Like he is like the dad's caregiver, basically.
Yep. And he at some point in this Poirot, I think next, it's like he's been taking kind of frequent trips to the bathroom to like wash his face, like splash water on himself or get water or whatever. I think this is the one where he does it. He turns on the faucet and it doesn't come, and then he's like hallucinating.
Yeah.
So he's like a ghost in the mirror, and like the water's been running the whole time. He just didn't realize.
It's like scalding hot. Yeah.
And he walks out, and the son is right there, and he starts kind of interviewing the son. And the son definitely believes in ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know that any other information comes from, or he confirms one of the alibis. So.
And he confirms, like, the son basically confirms that the dad, like the doctor, is suffering from what he called it, like battle fatigue, which we know as PTSD, but
Yeah.
So he kind of confirms like why the dad is.
Yeah, but he also said he was with him at what time, so.
Yeah.
Then he investigates, what is it? Is this the twins next? Or not the twins, the siblings?
The siblings.
I believe it's the siblings.
I can't remember who is. I can't remember what order it was in, but
it was either the siblings or the ex-fiance.
Yeah.
I think it was the siblings, then the ex-fiance.
Sounds right.
But yeah, the siblings he like keeps separate. They were like kind of like trying to scam her. Like one of them thinks she's real. One of them thinks she's like knows that she's a fraud.
Yeah.
And their plan is because they saw a movie that took place in St. Louis. They want to go to America and live in St. Louis.
Yeah.
They were like taking her pay, like to like under her employee to do that. And they were also like skimming off the top. During this, she storms out and like tries to run away and gets stopped. And this ends up with them both being tied to a chair. And what Poirot hears something from this, runs off, and thinks it's something. Or no, this is when there is actually a bunch of noise, right?
Yeah, the doctor. Wait, what happens?
I don't know. At some point, Poirot runs off and he, like, is talking to a child that's not actually there.
Yeah.
It's like, you think the ghosts are getting to him or something.
Yeah.
But, at some point, there is actually a bunch of noise, and people are like, is that the spirits? But no, it's just, like, the storm, and there's a basement that people didn't know about. And they go into the basement, and there's, like, a bunch of bees, and also the storms, like, knocking stuff and, like, causing flooding.
Real creepy.
Yep. But yeah, and this is the scene where, the, doctor and the, ex-fiancé start fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Poirot and his bodyguard are busy, like, looking at something, and then they start fighting, and there's this whole, like, row about it, and he's like, after that ends, he goes to settle down, and he's given, like, medicine. It seems like some sort of, like, sedative.
The
And he
doctor,
ends up,
yeah.
yeah, locked in a room, which is her music room, and she's like, I have the one key. Allow me to give it to you, Poirot, for safekeeping.
Yeah. And she, like that was such a setup, yeah, because she's like, this room is soundproof. He'll be fine here. Here's the one key. Only you can have it.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna die as soon as that happened. Like, they're locking him in a room and everybody was looking, like, at that room.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, and, so is this where he goes and talks to, the ex-fiancé in the, like, in the, kitchen, and he's, like, cutting stuff with the knife?
It must be. Yeah, then he cuts his finger, and the author lady is like, oh, use honey, it's old antiseptic.
Yep.
So he gets the honey, and he, like, licks his finger, and he's like, oh, it tastes like some kind of wildflower, but I can't
No, he said that's not wildflower, but I can't quite place it.
Yeah, there you go. And then, this is when Poirot starts, like, really, like, his vision's kind of going blurry, and he's looking at, so we find out that the ex-fiancé received, like, a typed note, like, telling him, like, information about Alicia, the girl who died, his fiancé, will be tonight at the Palazzo. And, like, Poirot's looking at it, and he starts, like, kind of hallucinating again, and he's, like, he sees the word apple kind of, like, jump out at him, and he's looking at the apple, and it's, like, this whole thing.
Yeah.
So he's kind of, like, starting to lose it.
Yeah, and he also gets, the ex-fiance's side of the story during this, which, like, the, mother had put it as, like, he was only interested in the money, and once he found out they weren't actually that rich, he ran off for someone else. And, he's like, no, I really did love her, but I couldn't deal with her mother, so I ran off, but then I tried to come back, and she wouldn't let me.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was a thing. And yeah, then after Poirot has his episode, he goes and, like, tries to get some fresh air. And the author's like, you should rest, you should call it quits for the day. And also the, bodyguard is there. And then he's like, I figured it out, you two set this whole thing up with the medium, because you wanted to write a book, the author lady did, because her past 3 books had reviewed poorly and I guess sold poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she had, hired the medium to try to, like, convince Poirot that it was, like, haunted or whatever, it was actually ghosts, so then she could write the story of the, medium who stumped Poirot.
Mm-hmm.
And, the bodyguard was in on it, and he was a former police officer, in fact, the one who responded to the call about the, death of the daughter, and that's actually what made him quit the police.
Yeah, see, I didn't see this coming. I didn't see the bodyguard being involved.
No, yeah. I kind of forgot he was still there.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, right, yeah, this guy. But yeah, and he, like, realizes, they're not, the murderers. Like, they say, we're not the murderers, though, we just, like, we're trying to pull one over on you to, like, get money.
Right, which is, like, super manipulative.
Yes, but, then there's been another murder, as always happens in these.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have the second murder. And they run over, and of course it's the guy who got locked in the room.
Right.
Oh, yeah, also at some point there was a phone call that rang, and it's like,
yes.
It's the ghost. Ooh, the phone rang randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they run over, and it's like, there's been a murder. He's found dead with a dagger through him. And, shoot, what happens after this?
Okay, so this is where, and of course, like, the bird's doing all kinds of antics around,
Right, he goes up back to her room to investigate, right?
Yeah, he went back to her room, like, and the bird's doing all kinds of stuff, and he's remember still like under the influence a little bit.
Yeah.
So like somehow the bird I think makes like the teacup fall on the ground, and then he's like, the bird goes under the bed or something, or under the table. I don't remember what it was. And so he's like kind of, yeah, he's like kind of crawling on the ground, like, well, he's like, why can't I see the answer? And then he like picks up, it was the picture, the other half of the picture that the ex-fiance had. It was ripped in half, and it was like his picture. And so you think like it's pointing to the, like, oh yeah, it's pointing to the ex-fiance because he found his picture right after he says like, why can't I find, what I'm looking for, basically.
Yeah, and then he goes downstairs and like summons everybody and is like, I know who did it, and has a whole conversation. He's like, it was the mother who killed everybody. And the way she did it was, initially, he figured out about the honey, which was, from the plant she was growing, was not actually like normal wildflowers. It was a very specific one that, poisons people and can cause hallucinations, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And, she had been poisoning her daughter in order to, like, keep her dependent, like, isolate her. And, yeah, and then, someone figured out about this and started blackmailing her. And she thought it was the doctor and the medium, because the medium suspiciously showed up, asking a bunch of questions. So that's why she kills the doctor and the medium. And also, the one who technically did the deed was the, housekeeper, who, fed her too much of the honey, not realizing it was poison. And, she decides to frame it up as suicide, by throwing her overboard, the mother, not the housekeeper.
Yeah.
Right, because she's initially like, I would never kill my own daughter, etc. And he's like, you didn't actually kill your daughter. The housekeeper didn't realize you were feeding her poison, accidentally fed her too much, and she died. Right, and then she runs. Oh, right, and the way she killed the doctor, she called him on the phone and is like, I'll get your son if you don't kill yourself.
This is the part that I didn't really like, because I was like, okay, why wouldn't the doctor like try to fight back in some way? Instead, he was just like, oh, let me put this dagger in my stomach.
Because he has PTSD and also sedatives, and also like she has his son in the scene.
I don't know. I just feel like he like gave up really easily.
Well,
I was like, really? Like, wouldn't you try to protect your son, like, from the grasp of this, like, murderer?
Don't know. But yeah, so then she, like, runs off and, has a confrontation with Poirot. What was she holding? Oh, right, there was a whole legend about how the orphan children like to kill people. And she had this little, like, claw thing that, like, put on a symbol.
It looked like, oh, what do you call it? Like, it's for gardening, like a little small, like, handheld, like, hoe.
Yeah.
I don't know
something
what it's called.
Like that. Because apparently there was, like, a hand symbol or something, like, 5, like, lined claw outline that represented the, like, orphans. Yeah, she had, like, done that to them. And then there's maybe a ghost, maybe another hallucination of the daughter there as she, like, trips and falls down, into the canal below, killing her.
Right.
And, the ghost maybe was a ghost, maybe she just tripped and fell, it's ambiguous.
Yeah.
Alright, and then the next day happens and we get our little wrap-up. So, he's having the conversation with with everybody, and he reveals that the kid was the blackmailer, not his father, because he realized this and he was trying to earn income to, support him and his dad.
Yes.
And the maid, or the housekeeper, decides to take him in, so that ends happy for them. She also decides to use that money to support the dream of the siblings. So, happy ending for them. He decides he's not going to turn in the bodyguard for fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And him and the novelist have like a back and forth bout, where she's upset at him, and he's like, whatever. Apparently not going to do anything about it. But he's also like, this whole like case thing has restored his life, I guess. He's all like,
his vigor
yeah,
for sleuthing out crimes, I guess. Whodunits.
yeah, he may or may not have become a believer due to this incident where the ghost may or may not have been real.
Yeah.
The kid certainly thinks the ghost was real and said you had help solving this. So there's that. And he goes back to his house where he like takes in a new case. The end.
Yeah, he finally, like, because he had all these people, like, waiting for him every day, which is why he had a bodyguard.
Yep.
Wanting him to help solve their crimes or mysteries or whatever. And he, like, refused to do it because he was, quote, retired. And so, like, at the end, they show him, like, finally leaving the door open and just, like, letting the guy come in and tell him, like, his problem. But yeah, so I think a couple of things I noted, like, at the end of the movie was, for one, I thought it was kind of funny how, like, it's revealed that, like, the little boy, was the one, like, blackmailing her the whole time to, like, help pay the bills because, his dad as a doctor, obviously PTSD was kind of, like, debilitating for him and he couldn't really work much. So he's like, yeah, at first it was just to, like, pay the bills. So, like, the kid really was, like, taking care of his dad, which, was kind of sad, but, like, you also realize, like, that kid's, like, more responsible and, a smart little dude that, like, he really had this figured out to, like, blackmail an adult, So that was interesting. And then the other part about, like, the author, like, basically, like, using Poirot, and he's like, I thought we were friends. And she's like, you don't have friends. And I was like, dude, she's kind of cold,
Well,
huh?
he said
like,
that in the beginning of the movie, so...
Yeah, he did, but he's still, like, she was an old acquaintance that he'd known for years. And so, like, you see that, like, okay, he's gonna do this favor for her, right? Like, so it was like they were friends. And then, like, at the end, he's like, yeah, I thought we were friends. Like, why'd you do this, basically? And she's like, you don't have friends. Like, she was just so cold and, like, only out for herself. I was like,
yep.
What a turd. And, like, he didn't do anything about it. Like, he was just like, okay, cool. You go your way, I'll go mine. But yeah, that was like, Tina Fey's character sucked.
Yeah, well.
Which we already knew.
Also, it's kind of funny that there's, like, a double scheme happening here.
Yeah.
Like, as far as they know, this was just a suicide, so they, like, hired the medium to come in, and they were just gonna, like, they were also gonna, like, scam, presumably, a grieving widow off of this.
Yeah.
And they were...
Right, so I was like, this is so terrible.
Yeah, just to, get Poirot to, he could be part of the novel.
How was the author lady, how did she, like, secure an invite to this?
I don't know. That whole time I was like, so why exactly is she here?
Yeah, like, how is she connected to that family? Like, I know she knew the medium, like, but, like...
Yeah, the medium just, like, showed up. She just, like, sent a letter to, the mother, so... I don't know.
Yeah, but, like, nobody questioned why... And, like, why was the author lady... Like, why did she bring Poirot to the orphan party? Like...
Yeah, it's just weird that, both of them are there.
Yeah, so I'm just like, oh, okay, like...
Maybe it's just, like, a celebrity, like, they're both celebrities, so they just, like, crashed someone's party, and they're like, yeah, I guess you can hang out for our party in seance.
Yeah, but, like, I guess you can... Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess you can stay for the seance where we're gonna try to talk to my dead daughter. Like, I don't know. To me, that was just kind of, like, questionable.
Yeah, like, it... Once they were at the seance part, I'm like, why is she here? Like, exactly.
Yeah, why are they here? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if Rowena really wanted to believe that her daughter was speaking through this medium, why would she agree to have Poirot there to, like, suss out the medium? Because, like, she really wanted to believe it. So, like, what was the point in her letting Poirot stay and, like, debunk this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. There's some holes in this story, but,
yeah.
Also
the fact, like, it doesn't really pay off in the plot. The thing we're saying is weird that he, like, puts on the mask and apple bobs.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's, like, he gets attacked. And that's, like, kind of a plot point.
But, like, why would you stick your face in a bowl full of water? And I guess it's because he was under the influence.
This was before he was under the influence.
All this scary stuff is happening. Yeah, maybe, okay. all this scary stuff is happening. Like, let me just go stick my face in a bowl of water and not think that, like, a spirit or somebody is going to come out of nowhere and try to drown me.
Well, I mean, I think you're being too paranoid there.
Well, that's me. I mean, you know, I'm the one, like, you see the memes online where, like, you know, you're washing your face at home and you know that's the time that, like, a ghost's going to show up behind you. Like, that's me.
That is not me. I mean, I wouldn't apple bob just because that's not, like, entertaining to me.
I always thought that was unsanitary.
Yeah,
I always
gross.
thought that was gross.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I like refused to bob for apples. So I was like, that's gross. But yeah, I think you know, there's some holes in the plot, but overall, like I have to say again that like the setting to me was the best thing. Like an old palazzo that's supposedly haunted, and you know, with the setting of Venice with all of its mystery. I just like loved the setting of this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't like the plot holes didn't bother me. It was just weird.
Yeah. It was just the whole time I'm like questioning like why, like, but
yeah,
that's what a movie's all about.
Decent murder mystery. Poirot is a decent character. You know, I like the actors once again. We'll say, like I said, the just some of this stuff's fairly like generic, cliched. Like the poison honey being the cause of the like ghostly things happening. Like that, I feel like that's such a like cliche.
Yeah.
And also like the fact, you know, he goes through this ordeal and his faith in humanity, his job, etc. is restored, and that like kind of coincides with his faith in like the weird like ghosts and stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, but you know, I didn't hate it. I thought it was a solid movie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'd watch it again. All right, you have anything else to add?
No.
All right, well, that has been Beach View with our review of A Haunting in Venice. Join us next time. Bye.
Bye.